On the air, online, covering the Treasure Coast. Get connected with the Get Up and Go Show. And now here's your host, Evan and Bonnie.
.607 Get Up and Go Show with Evan and Bonnie. It's a Wednesday morning. Good morning, blah, blah, blah. Let me get my words out. Good morning, Bonnie. There we go.
And good morning to you, Evan.
I'm tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied and twisted?
No, I'm not twisted, please. Don't even go there. Don't get me started.
Tongue-tied and thirsty, maybe?
There you go. Just don't call me twisted, because if you start calling me twisted, oh, you're in for a big treat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I better watch my P's and Q's then today.
Watch your P's and Q's, dot your I's, and cross your T's properly, and be a good girl and stay in your little student desk over there, okay? The teacher is in the house and school's in session.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if school is in session. I heard a lot of students, I wonder if any students are staying home because of coronavirus.
Nah, I don't think so.
I'm seeing where colleges are putting some of their courses online so the students can stay home.
Yeah.
And we even have something coming up in the news where there's, I think up in Melbourne, there's a university up that way where they're not even going to have their graduation ceremonies in public. They're going to have a graduation without the public coming, and then people will be able to view the graduation online.
Yeah. It's, it's everybody's getting all nervous about this whole coronavirus thing going on. It seems like everywhere you turn, it's corona this, corona that, corona everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the beer either.
No. And yeah, every time you turn on the news, it seems that every single story of the news is about the virus completely.
Yeah. And, I will say this much. Dr. Oz was on TV the other day, and he offered some great quick tips on how to keep yourself and those around you safe from the coronavirus. And I thought we'd touch on those this morning. I thought that would be a good topic to talk about. If you're not a Dr. Oz fan, we have those tips here in our palatial radio studios in our palatial palace in downtown Stuart, Florida.
Yeah.
Where we're located at.
Have those Dr. Oz tips right here for you.
Bonnie, what would you do if I came to work in a hazmat suit? How would you react to that?
Well, I'd have to probably take a picture of it and put it on Facebook because you don't see that every day happening.
No, right.
And we heard that Howie Mandel is wearing one.
Yeah, he wore one on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And Heidi Klum went home sick. She wasn't feeling too good.
Ooh.
They tried to pass her off as having a stomach virus, but that didn't work so well.
Uh-huh. I mean, would you be surprised, Evan, if you were to ride home today, maybe stop in a store and see somebody in one of those hazmat outfits? Would it surprise you?
That would be pretty funny, I'd have to say. Honestly, I was in Walmart yesterday, had to pick up a few things for myself, some socks and some other things, and I figured I'd stroll down, just out of curiosity, I would take a stroll down the toilet paper aisle. And sure enough, I've never seen more empty shelf space in my life.
Oh.
Then I figured I'd stroll down the hand sanitizer aisle next.
Yeah.
Man, more empty shelf space.
Was looking empty?
It's ridiculous.
We have plenty of the hand sanitizer at home, but we're not the couple that went out and, bought it in droves. And we didn't hoard anything. We didn't go hoarding anything.
Mm-hmm.
We're just kind of, we think we are in that, safety measure.
I don't understand why the rush on toilet paper. I really don't. I mean, that's just a common everyday household thing. Why the rush on toilet paper? For God's sakes, is it going to make you go to the bathroom more?
I'm not too sure.
More?
I bought some maybe just a few days ago, and when I was shopping for toilet paper at the time, I didn't have a problem finding any.
I mean, if you can't find toilet paper, use a napkin.
Yeah.
Use a paper towel. Does the same purpose.
Maybe
it's just not as soft.
Maybe jump right in the shower if you can.
A little more grainy, so to speak.
Yeah, I see. And what's happening in Italy?
Italy, they shut Italy down.
The whole country.
Heck? Yeah.
And I guess if you're supposed to stay home and not go to work, and if they catch you heading out to work, they're arresting you and you could go to jail there for like
Yeah.
3 months.
I have some friends that live in Israel, and I'm gonna try to get them on the phone. It's 7 hours ahead there right now, so I'm gonna send Michael Friedson an email and see if I can possibly get him to call into the show and find out what's going on over in Israel and get a
Wow.
report from them as well.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
To
So
find out what's happening halfway around the world
yeah,
too.
definitely so. But going back to the whole Dr. Oz thing, okay, here's some things that Dr. Oz talks about. First off is your lifestyle. He says that you should get at least 7 hours of sleep at night. Well, that's not happening for me. Aim to exercise 30 minutes every other day. Meditate and improve. Meditate and improve air quality by using a humidifier and HEPA filter to reduce virus particles in the air.
Do you have a humidifier at home?
I do not.
Neither do we.
I do not.
You know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea, getting some sort of air purifier.
Right. The next thing he says is hygiene. Don't shake hands right now and don't touch your face. Triple your hand washing time, at least 20 seconds. Use hand sanitizer. That's at least 60% alcohol. Use disinfectant sprays instead of wipes on surfaces around the house and let them sit for 3 minutes before drying.
Okay, that's a pretty good point, I guess.
Okay.
You want it to suds in?
Yes, suds in. The next thing he says is to prepare. Have a 2-week supply of household items like toilet paper. Here we go. Toilet paper, soap, and detergent. Food like canned foods and freezer items, and both prescription and over-the-counter medicines.
Yeah, I guess it meaning that it doesn't hurt to stock up for
Kind of like you're
a little
preparing
while,
for a hurricane.
and you're preparing too, so you don't have to go out and
Yeah.
get this and that, and every little thing can add up for you. Running into a store here, running into there.
Well,
It's going to keep you more at home and away from germs, I guess.
well, here's where the best part about this is, as far as stocking up or buying supplies, you don't even have to have you don't have to go to the store. You can use an app called Shipt Shopper, and you can
Mhm.
shop online. They deliver everything right to you.
Yeah.
So how about that?
Isn't it Amazon? I think that I know people that will order like a goodie bag full of the necessities that
Yeah.
they need, like their shaving cream,
Right.
underarm deodorant.
Mhm.
It's like a necessity bag that will arrive. I bet Amazon is making spark business right now, like
Yeah,
booming,
definitely.
booming business.
Definitely. Dr. Oz says to boost your immune system, eat fruits and vegetables, take vitamin D3, and get your flu shot. And I actually inquired about a flu shot yesterday.
Did you?
So I think I'm going to go after I can't go today. So I probably will go tomorrow
hmm
and get a flu shot at Walmart through the pharmacy department. They're $39 if I'm not mistaken. But if you have insurance, you'll have it covered.
hmm And at $39, I don't shop for shots too often, so I don't know if that's $39 is a value for that or not.
Right.
It sounds most affordable though.
Right. And then finally, Dr. Oz says if you're sick, take 80 milligrams of zinc daily, 250 milligrams of vitamin C twice a day, 250 milligrams of beta glucan daily, and elderly syrup or lozenges 4 times a day for 5 days.
Elderly syrup or lozenges?
Yes, lozenges.
Lozenges.
Lozenges. I call them lozengers. Same
Uh-huh.
thing.
Oh, okay.
But
see.
I have no idea what elderberry syrup.
Elderberry syrup. I bet you could find that like at the health store, like Nutrition Smart
Yeah.
or somewhere.
What is elderberry syrup, though?
Elderberry.
Hold on, I'm going to Google it right
It's
now. 'Cause
probably-
I'm curious.
I would guess that it's some sort of berry with some antioxidants involved, which many berries do contain. Like blueberries, for one, is supposed to be like really, really good for you if you eat blueberries. A lot of antioxidants in the blueberry, I believe.
Elderberry is one of the, let's see here what it, from healthline.com.
I bet there's an elderberry tea, I would almost assume.
So here it is. Elderberry is one of the most commonly used medical plants in the world. Traditionally, Native Americans used it to treat infections with the ancient Egyptians used it to improve their complexions and heal burns. Today, elderberry is most often taken as a supplement to treat cold and flu symptoms. However, the raw berries, bark, and leaves of the plant are also known to be poisonous and can cause stomach problems.
Oh,
yeah.
The raw berry.
Yeah, the raw berry.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I wonder, by the time they must filtrate it and, make it into some sort of in juice or liquid form, I'm
Mhm.
almost guessing. But
Yeah.
if you take the berry yourself, you could be poisoned. That's pretty weird.
Yeah, there's definitely something about that, but there's all forms of elderberry. There's black elderberry, immune support. It's just all over the place.
I wonder, I bet, I almost bet the nutrition stores are getting the business too lately then. People probably going in droves to get their supplements and getting their vitamins too.
Yeah, without a doubt. Corey Feldman has unleashed his expose, My Truth, the Rape of Two Coreys, according to reports. It just repeats previous accusations, including the one that Charlie Sheen raped Corey Haim. That's news. There's also the Property Brothers. You ever heard of the Property Brothers?
The Property are they the twins?
Yeah.
They're the twin brothers that build.
Yep.
And they go in and make these homes marvelous.
Yeah.
All of that renovation.
They have a new show. It's called Celebrity IOU, where they help A-list celebrities do surprise renovations for important people in their lives. It premieres on April the 13th. The participating celebrities include Brad Pitt, Melissa McCarthy, Viola Davis, and Michael Bublé. Not Michael Bubble, Michael Bublé.
Bublé, yes.
Yes, Bublé.
So they are helping these celebrities to help people or friends that they know that need housing.
Yep.
Would you be interested in that sort of show?
I might. That
might pique my interest for an episode or two.
Might. Without a doubt. You've heard of Billie Eilish, right?
Billie Eilish. She's the one that won. She was the knockout Grammy winner this season, like for new artist.
Yeah.
She's really a hot ticket.
She loves to wear baggy clothes because she doesn't want to be sexualized. But she kicked off her world tour in Miami this past Monday by stripping down to her bra only. And it was all to make a statement about body shaming.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
A pre-recorded video played on the big screen along with a 2-minute spoken word monologue about how she constantly feels judged. And she slowly removed layers of clothing in the video, first her hoodie, then her shirt, and then down to nothing.
I have yet to try out her music. I keep forgetting to tell my Alexa to play that. I've been kind of intrigued about what she performs, after winning so big in Grammy. And I think she probably started out as one of those YouTube people also.
You mentioned about Alexa. Okay, always allow. There we go. You mentioned about Alexa. And we have Alexa at the house. So I wanted to do something here. Watch this. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Currently, in Stuart, it's 64 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies. Today, you can expect clouds and showers, with a high of 80 degrees and a low of 62 degrees.
Is that amazing?
That's pretty cool.
Watch this. Hold on. Watch this, Bonnie. Alexa, I hope you have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
I can have a full-blown conversation with Alexa.
I have her give me the weather like you just did on Saturday morning before I go out and run. I like to know that temperature, and I like to know if I have to put on a sweatshirt or not. Wear some mittens maybe when I'm running. Your hands tend to get a little cold when it's around 49 and you're feeling that chill.
You go running in 49-degree weather. Have you lost your mind?
No.
Wow.
It feels good.
All right.
It feels good.
Well, something that's going to feel really good is news this morning, all brought to you by Discovery Senior Living at 621. And Bonnie has the headlines from the news desk. Good morning, Bonnie.
Good morning to you, Evan. And the state health department says there are now 23 positive cases of coronavirus in Florida. 21 of the patients are residents. The other 2 are from out of state. Test results are pending on 155 residents. 319 are being monitored. Florida's death toll from the coronavirus remains at 2. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the country's leading expert on infectious diseases, says Florida is one of the states he says he loses the most sleep over.
As a nation, the risk is relatively low. There are parts of the country right now that are having community spread in which the risk there is clearly a bit more than that. And you know the places, Washington State, California, New York, and Florida.
Meanwhile, Florida Senator Marco Rubio says he's frustrated that this far into the fight against the spread of COVID-19, there aren't more tests available.
I want to be frank. Even as I speak to you now, there are people who are being infected because they're interacting with people who may not even know that they themselves are infected.
Rubio says this is not like the flu because, unlike the flu, we don't have an antiviral medication for the coronavirus. Joe Biden is changing his plans to visit Florida because of the coronavirus. The former vice president announcing that he's canceled tomorrow's campaign appearance in Tampa. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz says his coronavirus test has come back negative. The Panhandle Republican says he will remain in self-quarantine through 2 p.m. tomorrow out of an abundance of caution. Gaetz secluded himself after learning he was exposed to the virus at a recent conservative conference outside of Washington, D.C. because of the coronavirus outbreak. Graduation will be very different this year at one Central Florida college, too. Florida Institute of Technology in Melbourne announced yesterday that no guests will be allowed at its graduation ceremony in May. The ceremony will be live streamed on the school's website. Florida is now up to 23 positive cases of coronavirus. 21 are state residents. The Department of Health says the death toll is still 2, and there is no cure for the coronavirus. But in Orlando, former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Antonio Novello says antivirals are the pipeline that could ease the symptoms.
Hopefully we will be able to have it between 6 months and so, because that might be more easier to have because there is already companies producing it. Makes me feel pretty good that we might be able to have that in the future.
Finally, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has lifted a no-sail order for the Caribbean Princess cruise ship after 2 crew members tested negative for coronavirus. As scheduled Wednesday, the cruise will dock at Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. When the captain came on this morning and said that we were cleared by the CDC, the whole ship erupted in applause, said passenger Teresa Bobber, who is one of 23 people on board the ship who live in the Spanish Lakes Fairways community in St. Lucie County. The no-sail order was issued late Sunday when Princess Cruises officials learned 2 crew members aboard the Caribbean Princess had previously been on the San Francisco-based Grand Princess, where 19 crew members tested positive for the coronavirus. The group from St. Lucie County traveled together as part of the neighborhood's Italian-American Club. Bobber praised the ship for keeping passengers entertained and safe despite initial worries about potential coronavirus on the ship. Sandy Sowers, the president for the community's Homeowners Association, has been keeping in touch with some of the group on the ship. The 10-day cruise to the Panama Canal missed just 1 port of call in the Cayman Islands, according to Bobber. Sowers says her community will likely reconsider future group travel while coronavirus concerns are heightened for travelers. The CDC recommended travelers, particularly those with underlying health issues, defer all cruise ship travel worldwide. A rundown of last night's Major League Spring Baseball scores. Atlanta Braves over Houston Astros 3-2. Detroit Tigers yesterday beat Pittsburgh Pirates 4-1. The New York Mets win 7-4 over the Houston Astros. And the New York Yankees took a win too. They beat Toronto Blue Jays by a score of 4-2. And it was 3-2 with Miami Marlins over Washington Nationals. Philadelphia Phillies win. They beat the Minnesota Twins 5-1. And the Texas Rangers spanking Chicago White Sox by a score of 9-2. Arizona Diamondbacks over Cincinnati Reds 10-2. The Brewers win yesterday to Kansas City Royals 5-2. And Chicago Cubs giving San Francisco Giants a beating. They win that game 16-3. Our news time is 6:26. We'll be back with weather and traffic together.
.627, the Get Up and Go Show. It's time for traffic and weather together, brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Bonnie?
Nothing happening on the roads. It's a quiet Wednesday morning. If you're heading out to work, you got to be there by 7. You should get there on time. No traffic slowdowns. And there's your latest look at traffic. Nice and cool for us this morning. It's 61 in Port St. Lucie. It's 65 in Stewart. Here's our forecast at WPTV.
This morning here on the Treasure Coast, some showers are coming in along the coast and some patchy fog is possible as well. Temperatures are cooler inland than along the coast. This afternoon, partly sunny with high temperatures around 80 degrees and breezy winds out of the east. A few passing showers are possible during the afternoon hours, and rip current risks are elevated along area beaches, and boating conditions will remain choppy.
The Get Up and Go Show would love to hear from you live on the air. Give them a call at any time, 772-220-WSTU. That's 772-220-9788. Now let's get back to the Get Up and Go Show. Here's Evan and Bonnie.
6:31 the time on the Get Up and Go Show with Evan and Bonnie. And Bonnie, there's viral videos making the rounds again. Have you found any, just out of curiosity, that you've come across in the last couple of days that you want to discuss?
Any viral videos? I don't think I've seen any that, that's etched in my memory. Nothing that really stuck out in the last 24 hours, at least.
Well, here's one that's pretty funny. A guy in North Carolina was helping his girlfriend do a flip by lifting her up by the waist as she spins in the air. Okay, it's pretty simple. Halfway through, as her buttocks area goes in front of the guy's face, she releases a little bit of gas.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Yeah, it looks like he was helping her. I wonder if she's like a gymnast or in gymnastics or something, or maybe cheerleading.
Don't know.
It looks like he's kind of like flipping her and kind of like flipping her around
Yeah.
in that clockwise manner of his. He's a pretty big kid too, and he's kind of flipping her around and then whoops.
The
whoopsie.
video is pretty funny.
Mhm.
As I look at the screenshots, and the look on his face is pretty funny too. The audio is hilarious, and I don't know if I want to play it or not. I don't know. I'm debating.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make an executive decision or not and play this.
I think, well, no, I didn't hear it this morning. I'm thinking, I thought I heard it. No, all I did was really see it.
All right, I made my executive decision.
That you're not going to play it
No,
just
that
in
I am.
case there's, oh,
There you go. There it was.
I guess that wasn't too scary or anything.
Nope, there it was.
Yeah, pretty audible there, that sound.
Yeah, that's called an audible.
Yeah.
Bonnie-
I let in audible.
Bonnie, please don't ever do that when we're broadcasting.
Okay.
I promise I won't.
And don't do a burp sound either.
Yeah, don't do that, because then I'd have to go to my sound effect that says, Houston, we have a problem.
Sometimes I feel like I have to burp after I drink my coffee
Well,
in
if
the
you
morning.
do that, there's a little mute button. See this button right here? That cuts you off right there.
Absolutely.
See that? Look at that. I cut you off midstream and mid-sentence.
That's pretty cool.
But I'll never do that to you,
that
though.
magical mute.
That magical mute
Love
button.
having it
I
here.
could just reach over here and just go, bam, just like that, and you're cut off. But I won't do that.
Silence.
Silence is not golden here on the morning show, because we have to have talk.
Yeah. Sometimes a moment of silence is very good, though.
Yeah.
Don't you ever like travel? I listen to talk radio often. Like,
Okay.
I'm more apt to put on our talk radio than to listen to music when I go home.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, I'll be listening to glibber, 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 and then I kind of turn off the radio, and then I want a moment of silence. A little bit of silence.
I'll get in the car, and I have my shows that I listen to. I listen to a show that's only on in the mornings from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. It's on XM Satellite. It's called Busted Open. It's a pro wrestling show, and a good friend of mine actually hosts it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get caught up in the world of pro wrestling. And then when I'm in the car, I'll listen to XM Channel 63. That is my worship music station.
Oh, nice.
They play all the worship songs there,
Yeah.
from Hillsong to Casting Crowns to you name it. They play it there. And then on the way into work in the morning, I'll listen to our station.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy named Guy Benson. They play his rerun, and I catch that between 4 and 5 on the way in.
Oh, is that good?
It's pretty good. It's not
Yeah.
too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah. I actually listen to our church services on the way in on Sunday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the church service, the guys that I listen to, Gary and Mike is one of them on our sister station.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have them on when I'm riding to work in the morning.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. There's another viral video out. A guy didn't want his cat jumping on the counter in the kitchen, so he put some tin foil on the counter to see if it would stop the cat.
Yeah, the cats
And
hate
it did.
tinfoil.
It did. And he filmed his cat jumping up to the counter, and when it touches the tinfoil, it immediately leaped backwards to the floor. Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah,
What
that
if this audio
that
is audible
cat jumps
here?
on that counter and has nothing
Oh, wouldn't you know we get the commercial when
has
you
nothing to do with that tinfoil.
No, wants to have nothing to do with the tinfoil at all whatsoever.
Hansi thinks that he can scratch our use our furniture once in a while for a scratching post, Evan.
Yeah.
And I use tinfoil.
Yeah.
I put tinfoil around it to keep them away from it.
Okay.
They don't like it whatsoever.
No, they don't. Let's listen in here. There's the cat. It's hard for people that are on radio. Oh,
It looks like he
Yeah.
he banged into something up there and just fell
it was
backward.
like a
but
Jack in the Box.
yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Hansi because my Hansi jumps around like that cat does.
Yeah. A singer in Russia was walking to the front of the stage to start her performance, but she went a little too far and she fell 10 feet down into the orchestra pit.
Oh my
You
goodness.
can hear the thud as she lands, but 3 seconds later, she just starts singing. Okay, listen in here. Is there audio? Oh, I got to bring the audio up. Hold on one second here. Let me do this. Here we go. That's her falling. And there she is singing right after she fell off the stage. How's that one?
So she kept on singing, just singing away.
Yeah.
A 10-foot fall too is, that's a pretty considerable fall.
Yeah. That's a good amount.
And it doesn't even seem like it phased her. Let's
No.
just go on, keep singing with that
She's
pretty voice.
Like the Energizer Bunny. She just
kept on
ticking away.
going and going. Mhm.
Kept on ticking away. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever just fallen and just picked yourself up, brushed yourself off, and kept on going?
Yeah, it was embarrassing one time because it's kind of like I took that fall where I thought everybody saw, but nobody saw it at all.
Mhm.
And it was actually it was coming out of a store, and then I started to kind of like run to my car, and all of a sudden my foot went down in this soaking water in this kind of mud puddle. There was like a huge dip,
Okay.
and I just fell into the water and hands first. And
Really?
so I'm looking up like, okay, this is so embarrassing. Who saw it? Well, nobody's looking and nobody saw it.
Wow.
So it was just one of those things where, yeah, I've fallen. I was able to get up, but I felt completely embarrassed about it. Like if anybody were watching, they probably would be laughing in their vehicles.
Not good at all, huh?
No, no. Have you ever had that happen? That moment where oh wow, what a moment, and then you felt embarrassed about it and thought that everybody saw it, but they really didn't?
That moment where it's the blank moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen before.
I actually had that at there was like a place down here for some Japanese food.
Okay. Don't know what it
And
was called.
We were at a party, and it was the first time I encountered wasabi, Evan.
What is wasabi?
It's the real hot sauce that people put on sushi.
Okay.
It's a green, very hot kind of sauce that goes on sushi.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought it was some sort of a dip.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of like took a big bite of it, because I wanted to taste it.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, wow, all of a sudden my ears and my whole mouth, my whole throat was like on fire. There was like,
Did you drink water?
there
Ice
was
water?
smoke coming out of my ears.
Okay.
And I was almost in tears, like I was almost crying. And I looked out yonder. I looked at everybody at the party. Nobody had noticed that I took a big bite of it and what
Wow.
was happening on the inside. But I thought that
Pretty
everybody
nuts.
saw, and I was so embarrassed.
Okay. Bonnie, I've got some more interesting facts here I wanted to go over with you before we get into our news segment here in about 5 minutes. Did you know that 47% of women receive more compliments when they look tan?
I believe that.
Right?
Yeah. I would rather be tan than what I have now is my winter white going on.
You're not as white as a wall, though.
I know, but I'm still, compared to what I used to be tan, I'm not looking all that tan anymore.
Did you know that 4% of people in a recent survey think that their house is haunted?
Like you?
4%?
Do you think
I
yours
don't think
is-
my house is haunted. No, I just think there's a spirit in my house.
Yeah.
It's my dad's spirit.
It's a good spirit then.
Yeah. Did you know that close to 4% of people claim they never wash their cars?
Really?
How about that one?
How about them apples?
Yeah. How about, did you know that 65% of Americans say they would support bacon as their national food?
What percentage?
65% of Americans.
Bacon as a national food doesn't get my support. I mean,
No.
it tastes good. It tastes good in everything, but
Okay.
it's not the, best food or food group for you.
Did you know that the average adult who swims does it only about a dozen times a year? A dozen times, the
Oh, yeah?
average American. They go swimming 12 times a year. That's it. Did you know that 57% of men say if a woman is wearing red lipstick on a date, then they will move in for a kiss?
Really?
Yes. So next time you go out with Gary, pile on that red lipstick.
Yeah,
You go out
because
on a date.
with men are all visual. With men, it's so about the vision.
I don't know. Me personally, I would not kiss a woman with red lipstick. That's just me.
Because actually,
Ugh, it's gross.
I would think a guy would be hesitant to kiss a lady because then they would be wearing it.
Yeah.
They would be they'd be wearing the lipstick too,
Yeah.
and somebody might come over and kiss them.
Yeah. Did you know that 5% of people play games on their phone while they're driving? That's a staggering
That's
fact.
just a sin. There's
Yeah.
no common sense there
That's a
whatsoever.
Staggering note.
Yeah.
Did you know that 76% of women don't like guys who wear pleated pants?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pleated pants.
Pleated pants. Does Gary have any pleated pants?
I think he does.
Well,
Yeah.
I do, and my wife loves me.
I don't
so-
think it's a turn off.
No,
I don't
no.
see why.
Did you know that 44% of American coworkers are less than very satisfied with the quality of the coffee at their office? How about that one?
Well, we don't have any coffee here at the office.
No, you bring
So,
your own in.
Today I brought in Circle K, and I'm very satisfied
You
with
realize you just gave them a free plug on
their
the radio.
coffee quality. Well, they have the real coffee bean machine,
Okay.
and then you use that machine.
Now
and they-
I'm going to have to take a trip to Circle K and get them to spend money on our show
yeah.
because we gave them a free plug. Did you know that 23% of women say leaving wet towels on the bed is their partner's worst habit?
Oh,
That drives me insane
See,
if somebody were to do that.
we don't do that. I don't leave wet towels on the bed, and neither does he. So we don't have that problem in our household.
That would drive me insane.
We had that fixing of a doorknob problem yesterday.
Yeah, come to think of that, what was Gary thinking?
Well-
Okay. That kind of got me a little agitated
It's
that he said that.
we've been having these loose doorknobs in the house like forever. So
Mhm.
I got to start yesterday on refreshing them. So he bought all these new doorknobs came from Amazon, and
Okay.
there's 6 of them in the different packets with their screws and nailings.
Okay.
So I went on YouTube, and I was hesitant to change a doorknob because I've never changed one before.
It's not that hard. It's 2 screws. That's it.
It's not, and all you need is a Phillips screwdriver,
Mhm.
either a Phillips or a flathead. It depends on the doorknob, but ours was a small Phillips. That's all
Okay.
you needed. But there was like a YouTube guy that took you through it, and he did it so well. He did the showing so well that just after watching it twice, like 2 times, I was able to go and change doorknobs.
And you took it upon yourself when Gary left the house to go get something at the store, right?
He went to get something at the store, and I wasn't getting it at the time. I'm like, there's something wrong here. These heads are not wide enough for this doorknob. This doorknob's never going to stay in. He came back and he said, look, these screws in our other doorknobs are kind of like indented in too. Like it doesn't look like it's holding on the doorknob from the lock value part.
Okay.
So I just kept screwing. And sure enough, it attached and it worked. And I was like, yay.
So you did how many
I did it.
doorknobs?
I did only 2 yesterday.
Only 2.
Only 2.
Okay.
We have some more to change, and
Couldn't get to 3.
to make them all uniform.
Couldn't get to 3.
We didn't get to 3 because we went out to eat.
Oh,
So-
and you went out to get a sub, and
Yeah.
you were going to one place, but you never made it to that place, so you went to the other place.
Decided to go to the other place. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. And how was the other place's food?
It was very good.
I've eaten at that other place before.
Have you really?
Yes, I have.
We got the I got the Italian sausage green peppers
Oh.
sub.
Oh,
yeah.
so now you just let our listeners know that it's an Italian place.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're not going to name it because we want to get them to pay money to us too.
The plot thickens.
Yes, we want them to get to spend money with us on a sponsorship on the morning show.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
There's a guy named Stretch there, Stretch Jr., and
Okay.
he makes a good sandwich.
Okay, all right, very good. It's time for news. 6:46. It's all brought to you by the all-new Alfa Romeo Maserati Stewart. Come experience a state-of-the-art dealership and unsurpassed selection of luxury performance vehicles. The rich heritage of Italian motoring is within reach. Let them make your dream of driving an Alfa Romeo or Maserati come true. Alfa Romeo and Maserati Stewart, located 3980 Southeast Federal Highway in Stewart. Online at alfaromeostewart.com, maseratistewart.com. Luxury Legacy. It's time to head over to the news desk where Bonnie's standing by with the headlines this morning. Good morning, Bonnie.
And good morning, Evan. The state health department says there are now 23 positive cases of coronavirus in Florida. 21 of the patients are residents. The other 2 are from out of state. Test results are pending on 155 residents. 319 are being monitored. Florida's death toll from coronavirus remains at 2. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the country's leading expert on infectious diseases, says Florida is one of the states he says he loses the most sleep over.
As a nation, the risk is relatively low. There are parts of the country right now that are having community spread in which the risk there is clearly a bit more than that. And you know the places, Washington State, California, New York, and Florida.
Meanwhile, Florida Senator Marco Rubio says he's frustrated that this far into the fight against the spread of COVID-19, there aren't more tests available.
I want to be frank. Even as I speak to you now, there are people who are being infected because they're interacting with people who may not even know that they themselves are infected.
Rubio says this is not like the flu because, unlike the flu, we don't have an antiviral medication for the coronavirus. And Joe Biden is changing his plans to visit Florida because of the coronavirus, the former vice president announcing that he's canceled tomorrow's campaign appearance in Tampa. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz says his coronavirus test has come back negative. The Panhandle Republican says he will remain in self-quarantine through 2 tomorrow out of an abundance of caution. Gaetz secluded himself after learning he was exposed to the virus at a recent conservative conference outside of Washington, D.C. Because of the coronavirus outbreak, graduation will be very different this year, too, at one Central Florida college. Florida Institute of Technology in Melbourne announced yesterday that no guests will be allowed at its graduation ceremony in May. The ceremony will be live streamed on the school's website. And Florida is now up to 23 positive cases of coronavirus. 21 are state residents. The Department of Health says the death toll is still 2. There's no cure for the coronavirus, but in Orlando, former U.S. Surgeon General Antonio Novello says antivirals are in the pipeline that could case the symptoms.
We'll be able to have it between 6 months and so, because that might be more easier to have because there's already companies producing it. Makes me feel pretty good that we might be able to have that in the future.
Novello says frequent hand washing remains the easiest, most effective way to prevent the spread of the virus. Some cruise line passengers in South Florida will be able to return home after a coronavirus scare. The CDC announcing that the Caribbean Princess can dock today at Port Everglades after tests on 2 crew members came back negative. On March 10, 2020, at around 2:07 a.m., police responded to the 2000 block of Southwest Americana Street, Port St. Lucie, for reports of shooting activity in the area. A caller advised that several shots were heard prior to the arrival of police. After an extensive search of the area, police located 14 shell casings. Police discovered 3 bullets struck a house and front and near the garage. Police were informed at least 3 people were inside of the home at the time of the shooting, and when police arrived on scene, they found no suspects, no shooting victims. However, damage to the exterior of a home was noted. This case is actively being investigated. Police are still gathering facts and motive for the shooting. No additional information will be released at this time, and police are asking the public if they have any information about this incident or suspects involved. Contact the Port St. Lucie Police Department at 772-871-5001 or Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers. Some NBA hoops from last night. Boston Celtics beat the Indiana Pacers 114-111. The LA Lakers fall by a bucket to the Brooklyn Nets 104-102. And the LA Clippers beat the Golden State Warriors yesterday, 131-107. In hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning fall to Toronto Maple Leafs 2-1. The New York Islanders, fall to the Vancouver Canucks 5-4. In Major League Baseball yesterday, the Phillies beating Minnesota Twins 5-1. Miami Marlins 3-2 over Washington Nationals. The New York Mets take over Houston 7-4 yesterday. And the New York Yankees, beating Toronto Blue Jays by a score of 4-2. Arizona Diamondbacks over Cincinnati Reds 10-2. The Chicago Cubs 16-3 over San Francisco Giants yesterday. And also the Texas Rangers did beat the Chicago White Sox 9-2. News time 6:52. We'll have weather and traffic together coming up.
.653, the Get Up and Go Show. It's time for traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Bonnie?
Well, we don't have any traffic accidents, so it's a really good Wednesday morning traffic-wise on the roads if you're heading out the door this morning. Drive safe. There's your latest look at traffic. Palm City has 64. It's 61 right now in Port St. Lucie. Here's our forecast at WPTV.
This morning here on the Treasure Coast, some showers are coming in along the coast and some patchy fog is possible as well. Temperatures are cooler inland than along the coast. This afternoon, partly sunny with high temperatures around 80 degrees and breezy winds out of the east. A few passing showers are possible during the afternoon hours, and rip current risks are elevated along area beaches, and boating conditions will remain choppy.
Let's get back to the Get Up and Go show. Here's Evan and Bonnie.
6:58, the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie. And Bonnie, did you know that 15% of people have snooped or gone through their boss's desk at work, even though it could get them fired?
Really?
Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone through your boss's desk?
Gone through a boss's desk?
I'm guilty of that.
you know,
I've done that.
I have not.
I've done that. Not here, but I've done that like many, many, many years ago.
You really?
Yeah, I'm not going to say where or who or what, but I've done that before.
Was it at a radio station
No,
too?
I'm not going to say what it was
You can't
or where
even
it was.
give any kind of little clue or hint.
Not going to divulge anything.
As you were going through the desk, were you afraid like the boss would just pop in there without doing a knock knock?
I made sure the locks were locked on the door. Let's
Okay.
just say that.
So whoever put the doorknobs on did
Yeah.
a very good job with that, just like I did
Yeah,
yesterday at
exactly.
home.
And did you know that the average woman will wait 4 months before telling somebody they love them?
Okay.
That's an interesting fact.
Yeah. Do you think 4 months is enough? If
There's really no time limit on that.
Uh-huh.
It really just depends on you.
so, like, if you were, say, dating a girl, and in the first 2 weeks she told you she loved you, you would not be freaked out
No, I
by
wouldn't
that?
be freaked out. Not at all. Not at all. I don't remember how long it took Rachel and I. I'll
Uh-huh.
have to think about that one. We'll get her on the phone and we'll ask her.
Yes.
We're WSTU Stewart, Martin County's Heritage Station. The news is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
On the air, online, covering the Treasure Coast. Get connected with the Get Up and Go show. And now here's your host, Evan and Bonnie.
.707 on the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie on a Wednesday, a wicked Wednesday, a wild wicked Wednesday, as we call it. I'm trying to set this interview up as you see me diligently working here. I have some friends that live in Jerusalem in Israel. They're in the news media. They run the medialine.org, and I'm trying to set up a radio interview to get them to call in to get an idea of what's going on the other side of the world, to get firsthand information.
It would be interested to know how their news and what's happening in their news with the coronavirus and how people on that side of the world are doing.
Definitely so without that. But, enough of this coronavirus news. I think it's time for this kind of news.
News on the radio. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
It's time for birthdays and anniversaries on this March 11th, 2020. We're 2 months and 11 days into 2020.
You know that birthday jingle, Evan, that you play, the jingle right there?
Yeah.
It is that's instilled in my ears all day. I walk around with that late into the night as my earworm.
Really?
Because it's so catchy. It's such a
Wow.
catchy jingle.
I'm glad you like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have your seal of approval.
Is there anybody you have to say happy birthday to?
Yes, Rachel, of course. Speaking of Rachel, we surprised her yesterday. I got a call from her brother who lives in Tennessee.
Oh, bless you.
Excuse me, no, I'm coughing. Don't worry, I don't have anything. It's just something caught in my throat. Got a call from her brother a couple of days ago and said, hey, coming down to Florida with the wife and the baby, and I thought we'd come and visit you guys. And so why don't we surprise Rachel? So the timing was perfect. My wife's school had a little fundraiser going on at Duffy's yesterday. And I purposely made sure that Rachel's back was to the door. And we timed it out perfect where her brother Michael came walking in with the baby who she's never met before.
Whoa.
And Amber, Mike's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And we just surprised her.
What a nice surprise.
With my son Gavin, yeah.
Yeah, walking in there with her little niece and
nephew.
Nephew, okay.
Yes,
and
nephew.
She didn't even know they were coming.
Not at all.
That's a great birthday
but
surprise.
I had to tell my wife a little white lie and say that Darren and Delilah and Ashton were meeting us for dinner because I had to think of a reason to get a table for 6.
Yeah.
So I conned Gavin into coming. So that was me, Rachel, and Gavin. So I walk in and Rachel has a table already, and it's just a small table that'll hold 4 people. I'm like, we need a bigger table. Darren, Delilah, and the baby are joining us. She goes, I didn't know that.
Oh,
I'm like, well, it
boy.
was just last second. I called them up and told them.
What a nice surprise.
So she just bit into that. And we
Yeah.
got manager moved us over to another table. And Mike, my brother-in-law, texts me that he's in the parking lot getting Zachariah out of the car. And they come strolling in, and out of the corner of her eye, she catches a glimpse and looks twice. And there is Zachariah, my brother-in-law, Michael, and his wife, Amber.
Sounds like a big party. I'm sure the restaurant was glad to have your gathering.
Oh yeah, definitely. It wasn't a big party though, but it was nice. It was nice. It was good to see. I got to meet Zachariah. I fed him some food. I fed him some things that he's never ever eaten before.
Did he burp up on his bib a little bit? Little burp and gurgle?
He's 2 years old. So he's a cute little kid, I will say.
That's awesome.
He's adorable. He's cute as a speckled pup under a Christmas tree.
Hey, Evan, I want to wish a happy birthday going out to my coworkers.
Oh.
Tracy is celebrating today. Tracy
Okay.
and Kelly celebrating tomorrow.
Hey, can you convince one of your coworkers to come on the air as a guest with us one morning just to come on the air?
It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we'll get them up real early in the morning here.
Yeah.
And we can, just totally embarrass them on the radio.
I think you just want a free massage.
No, I don't want a free. No.
You want some massaging going.
Actually, you just gave me an idea. A massage on the air, just a shoulder massage on the air. and I can give like a play-by-play action of, how good it feels.
Perhaps I could bring someone in and they could work that out.
That would be fun.
I don't want to be seen with my massage on camera and on
No.
our Facebook because I don't want to give away my secrets and my
that
skills.
That won't look right either if you're giving me a massage on the air.
I know.
That just
Would you feel kind of
wouldn't look-
creepy after
Yeah,
that?
I would definitely feel creepy.
Would you be afraid you'd go home and dream about me at night, Evan?
No, I don't think I would go that far.
I'd be coming in your dreams all creepily
Yeah,
giving you
and
massages
then, then I'm
so
like 2:30 in the morning. I'm going, oh Bonnie, that feels so good. And my wife will be like, what the heck's going on?
she might throw something at you.
Yeah, she'd do more than throw something at me. She'd probably pull the gun out of the gun safe and fire off a few rounds or something.
Go
like
get a
that.
cold bucket of water and
Yeah.
give you a shower.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get to birthdays and anniversaries and back of the day. Jodie Comer's 27. That's Villanelle from Killing Eve.
I've been meaning to watch that show. I think that's the next series that I'm going to watch because Sandra Oh is also on that show.
Okay.
She from Grey's Anatomy, and she's just a wonderful actress. Just want to tune into that because of her.
Rainey Qualley is 30. That's Andy McDowell's daughter. She was the mystery girl who appeared on Mad Men wearing nothing but a fur coat.
Oh, she's Andy McDowell's daughter, the girl
Yes.
from Groundhog Day with the
Yes.
beautiful long black hair.
Yes.
I have to take a look at her to see how much now she's going to resemble her mom. Rainey
Yeah.
Qualley, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Thora Birch is 38. That's Kevin Spacey's daughter in American Beauty.
Okay.
No comment.
I'm not real familiar with one Thora Birch, nor am I of American Beauty. But now I guess I have to take a look at her to see if she looks like him.
My wife just texted me, and I'm not sure. I don't understand the text. I'm not gonna comment.
You
on
don't
it.
understand
No,
the context
I
of the
don't.
text?
Yeah, I don't understand I don't understand. I am not sure what.
Oh,
she
I'm
meant
going
by
out
that.
to lunch today with John.
Are you really?
I almost forgot about that.
Oh boy.
I think I'm going to get a Caesar salad for lunch.
right.
A blackened shrimp Caesar
I
salad.
know where
I
you're
would
going,
love.
but we don't want to give that restaurant a free advertisement perk.
Okay.
But I will say the wings are very good there.
Ooh, I can't
uh,
wait to go.
Let me see here. David Anders is. Wait a minute. Hold it. How does lunch mix in with birthdays and anniversaries?
I don't know.
That just came out of nowhere.
It just.
Wow.
Well, when you were getting that text from Rachel, it just reminded me of it.
Okay,
Popped in my head. Oh, I'm going to lunch this afternoon.
Well, you get a text and then you get a phone call.
I have to go to the DMV too, Evan. That's
Yeah.
not fun.
All right. Well, go get your driver's license.
Yeah. My registration sticker is due. Good morning,
Good
Rachel.
morning, Rach.
Good morning.
There she is.
Here, all wide and awake.
Yeah, she's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the vehicle in the F-150.
Ooh, that truck is mean.
Yeah, she's got a
It's
nice
mean
truck.
machine.
I got her a nice truck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you feel really high up on the road, like above everyone when you're driving it, Rachel?
Oh yeah, I definitely sit higher. But I've always liked trucks, so
Yeah, kind of like you're flying in the clouds.
She's a truck kind of girl. She just trucks along.
I'm deciding on whether or not I should get that kind of truck, or I might want to get a big enough vehicle that can pull a jet ski.
Okay, well, you could pull a jet ski with your Mustang. The bumper might fall off.
I could, I never. There's a special way you can rig that bumper, and I never got that part
You have to
or
put
that
it- yeah.
piece put on.
You have to get a hitch put underneath your vehicle.
I could have done it a long time ago. I guess
Yeah.
I've just never done it.
Yeah. So we surprised you yesterday with your brother, huh?
you did.
That's 2 years in a row. I got her last year.
Birthday-
I got her last year
Oh.
for our 19th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
Most people do something on their 20th, but I decided to do something for our 19th wedding anniversary
Oh,
last
that's
year.
cool.
So I
That's-
put together
yeah.
this little shindig at a local place just down the road from here, as a matter of
You could
fact.
mention the place.
All
I
right,
don't-
Mulligan's.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Put together a nice little get together at Mulligan's. I told her that we were going out to dinner for our anniversary and it would just be the kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Little did she know that it was more than just the kids. It was a whole lot of people.
Wow.
So she walks in surprised, and that wasn't the surprise. The surprise was I flew her dad and her brother down here from Tennessee.
That's big.
And her sister drove down, put them all up in a hotel, and we kept them quarantined,
Yeah.
or should we say secluded,
Yeah.
until the day of. So then, me, of course, Rachel knows I like to get up and speak, and we renewed our wedding vows in front of everybody. And then I have her facing me, and I tell her, I forget exactly what I said, but I spin her around, or actually I spun her around, and somebody told me that I spun her around so hard that they thought she was going to fall down because
Yeah.
I did it so fast.
Do you remember getting dizzy, Rachel?
A little bit. He was making some speech, and he goes, the last thing he said was, I did it all for you. And then he turned me around, and my dad was there.
Yeah, her
Oh.
dad, total shock.
How cool.
Total shock.
Yeah.
She breaks down. She's crying.
Oh, boy.
Her dad, they're hugging. So we let that go over. And then her dad and I had this planned that he says, I left your anniversary gift out in the car. Let me go get it. So he goes out to the car. I make sure that she's facing me. I turn her around again, and bam, her sister and brother magically appear.
Really?
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
a whole family reunion
I got the
right
whole
there.
family down here.
Could you imagine if you had your side of the family too, Evan?
I don't have that many. They're not around that much
Okay,
anymore.
but how big that
Yeah.
was. And now you have more to, you're probably going to have another party with Evan's birthday right around the corner.
Nope. Just going to be very quiet. It's going to be very, very quiet.
Yeah.
And then yesterday we did the thing with her brother, and we surprised her with her brother coming into town, and we set that all up, and he surprised her with Zachariah, who we've never met
Oh.
before. That's our nephew. And
I like that name.
I've never met Mike's wife before, and she's just a sweetheart. I love her. She's really sweet.
Zachariah. That's
Yeah.
a really cool name. That's biblical, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that was supposed to be our son's name, but instead it was Gavin, thanks to the wife.
Gavin is a good name. I like Jeremiah too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even want to know about the story of how Gavin was named.
Oh,
Yeah. Rachel was possessed, let's just say.
yeah. She
For all of 30 seconds,
the
right,
words
honey?
were spoken.
That is correct.
Yeah.
When she stood up in that hospital bed, did she remind you of that girl from The Exorcist?
Well, she just sat right up. Literally. I
Yeah.
mean, she sat right up.
but her head didn't do a 360.
No, her head didn't do a 360, but I thought my head was going to get cut off if things didn't go right. And listen, when your wife has a baby and you're naming the child, and all of a sudden the wife sits up out of a deep sleep and says his name will be Gavin Michael, and then lays back down and passes out again, you just agree. That's all I
You
got to
weren't
say.
going to oppose that thought
No,
or
I
idea.
was not opposing that thought at all, and that's how Gavin was named.
That's good because Gavin is a good name. I quite like it. I like Devin, Gavin, Darren. Darren, I've always liked that name.
That's our oldest son's name.
Okay.
Yep. So anyway, well, have a great day at work.
Okay. You too.
I will. Thanks for calling in. A woman of many words.
She probably has her thoughts about the day and all the kids, that she's going to be teaching.
Yes.
And
It's like not enough that she deals with them all day. And then we had this fundraiser last night, and every time she takes a bite of food, there's another kid coming up, giving her a hug. Hi, Miss Rachel.
Yeah.
Hi, Miss Rachel.
are hugs allowed in class now?
We do.
Yeah.
Side hug.
Yeah.
Side hug's a safe way.
Yeah, there was like a big hugging convention in San Francisco that just got postponed. It's a non-sexual thing. They like a party that they go to where it's a hugging party, but canceled now due to coronavirus or
All right.
postponed.
All right, I'm going to let the wife run. We've got to get to news. Honey, I'll see you later. I've got a ball game today and then a dinner. I have a dinner date later. Well, that didn't sound right. Not a dinner date. I have a dinner engagement.
And Rachel
with
knows
somebody.
who the engagement
she
is
knows
with.
who it's with. It's somebody from our technical team up in South Dakota from Daktronics.
Wow.
So we're going to be having dinner with them later today. All right, honey. Have a great day. I love you.
Love you.
Bye. All right. There we go.
Love you.
There's the wife.
I love. I mean, we say it too. Like all the time.
Yeah, definitely so. News time, 7:21 right now. The Get Up and Go show. It's all brought to you by Discovery Senior Living. Bonnie's standing by at the news desk with the headlines. Good morning, Bonnie.
Hey, good morning, Evan. The state health department says there are now 23 positive cases of coronavirus in Florida. 21 of the patients are residents. The other 2 are from out of state. Test results are pending on 155 residents. 319 are being monitored. Florida's death toll from the coronavirus remains at 2. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the country's leading expert on infectious diseases, says Florida is one of the states he says he loses the most sleep over.
As a nation, the risk is relatively low. There are parts of the country right now that are having community spread in which the risk there is clearly a bit more than that. And you know the places, Washington State, California, New York, and Florida.
Meanwhile, Florida Senator Marco Rubio says he's frustrated that this far into the fight against the spread of COVID-19, there aren't more tests available.
I want to be frank. Even as I speak to you now, there are people who are being infected because they're interacting with people who may not even know that they themselves are infected.
Rubio says this is not like the flu because, unlike the flu, we don't have an antiviral medication for the coronavirus. And Joe Biden is changing his plans to visit Florida because of the coronavirus. The former vice president announcing that he's canceled tomorrow's campaign appearance in Tampa. Florida is now up to 23 positive cases of coronavirus. 21 are state residents, and the Department of Health says the death toll is still 2. There is no cure for the coronavirus, but in Orlando, former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Antonio Novella says antivirals are in the pipeline that could case the symptoms.
We'll be able to have it between 6 months and so, because that might be more easier to have because there's already companies producing it. Makes me feel pretty good that we might be able to have that in the future.
The American Red Cross said on Tuesday that it is in need of blood donations from healthy people amid the spread of COVID-19. The Red Cross said that the cold and flu season has already impacted the nation's ability to maintain its blood supply. The organization is concerned that a widespread outbreak of the coronavirus would cause fewer otherwise healthy individuals to give blood. The Red Cross said that its process is safe and that it will take precautions to avoid spreading germs. Red Cross staff will be wearing gloves, routinely wiping down donor-touched areas, using sterile collection sets for every donation, and preparing the arm for donation with an aseptic scrub. You can make an appointment to donate blood now by using the Red Cross Blood Donor app, visiting redcrossblood.org, or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Type O and platelet donations are especially needed right now. And to give blood, people can donate once every 56 days, must be in good health and feeling well, be at least age 16 and weigh 110 pounds, depending on height. And those who donate will be asked to produce an ID and be asked several medical questions. The whole process takes 10 to 15 minutes, according to the Red Cross. Well, on March 10 at around 2:07 a.m., police responded to the 200 block of Americana Street, Port St. Lucie, for reports of shooting activity in the area. A caller advised that several shots were heard prior to the arrival of police, and after an extensive search of the area, police located 14 shell casings. Police were informed at least 3 people were inside of the home at the time of the shooting, and when the police arrived on scene, they found no suspects and no shooting victims. However, damage to the exterior of a home was noted. If you have any information about the incident or suspects involved, contact the Port St. Lucie Police Department at 772-871-5001. And spring baseball action from last night. We had the Detroit Tigers beating Pittsburgh Pirates 4-1. The Atlanta Braves over the Houston Astros 3-2. And it wasn't a good night at all for the Astros. They went on to lose to the New York Mets 7-4. And the New York Yankees beating Toronto Blue Jays 4-2. Washington Nationals got beat by just a run to the Miami Marlins 3-2. Phillies beating Minnesota 5-1. Texas Rangers beating Chicago White Sox 9-2. But the Chicago Cubs winning 16-3 over the San Francisco Giants. And the Brewers win yesterday over Kansas City Royals 5-2. Arizona Diamondbacks over Cincinnati Reds 10-2. From National Hockey, Tampa Bay Lightning fall to the Toronto Maple Leafs 2-1, and the New York Islanders get beat by 1 to the Vancouver Canucks 5-4. From our NBA basketball action, LA Lakers fall to Brooklyn Nets 104-102 yesterday. Golden State Warriors get beat hard by the Los Angeles Clippers. That score was 131-107. Our news time is 7:27. We'll be back with weather and traffic together.
$7:28, the time to get up and go show with Evan and Bonnie. It's time for traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Bonnie?
Well, Evan, in our area of the woods, it's been really quiet traffic-wise this morning. I-95 and the Turnpike looking good. US 1 running smoothly right now. No accidents. And there's your latest look at traffic. Cool for us, too, right here at 61 in Port St. Lucie. In Stewart, we're at 64. Here's our forecast at WPTV.
This morning here on the Treasure Coast, some showers are coming in along the coast, and some patchy fog is possible as well. Temperatures are cooler inland than along the coast. This afternoon, partly sunny with high temperatures around 80 degrees and breezy winds out of the east. A few passing showers are possible during the afternoon hours, and rip current risks are elevated along area beaches, and boating conditions will remain choppy.
let's get back to the Get Up and Go show. Here's Evan and Bonnie.
7:31 on the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie. And Bonnie, it's one of those favorite times of the morning where we feature a very favorite topic of yours.
Everybody appreciates stupid news right here.
That's right. We scour the globe to find the stupidest headlines and stories that are out there. And just out of curiosity, do you have any stupid news yourself?
I didn't run across anybody being stupid yesterday. You see, Evan,
Okay.
everybody in my world, they're rather smart and brainy.
Okay.
So
Well,
I didn't run across any stupid news
I
yesterday.
agree with you also. I come across some very intelligent people in my life, but around the world,
But sometimes,
sometimes there are some very stupid people. Like these people in Oxford, Ohio. They ask themselves, how drunk is this? Well, 2 college kids were cited after they were found making out in the Oxford Police Department because they thought it was their college dorm.
right at the police department,
Officers found the kids in the stairwell at about 2:45 in the morning, asked what they were doing there. One of them replied, "We're just kissing." Officers also detected the pleasant smell of alcohol. When asked for ID, the officers could see several licenses in the man's wallet. The Michigan ID he produced proved to be fake. The young woman produced a Pennsylvania license, claimed to be from Cleveland and a student at Cleveland State. Turns out her ID was fake also.
oh my.
They both were arrested.
I bet they had some splaining to do the next day
Yeah,
to
they
their
had
parents.
splaining. They had splaining
A lot
to
of
do.
splaining.
Yeah. Let's go to McDonald's in New York City. You know, this is going to be a good story.
I bet I have a guess that there was probably a fight that broke out right in there, right?
A worker at a McDonald's in the city was arrested after allegedly smashing a coffee pot filled with hot coffee on the head of a customer following a dispute at the drive-through window.
Oh, that's worse than I even thought.
Police responded to the 911 call late Thursday night at the McDonald's in the Bronx, where they found a man in his 30s with a deep cut on his neck. The McDonald's worker, Imoni Reed, told police she and the man had a verbal dispute at the drive-through window and that he spit on her. Reed said she then grabbed the coffee pot and struck him with it, causing the cut to the left side of his neck.
Do people have any kind of restraint anymore?
No, not
mean,
at all.
What happened to the moments? Do you remember your teacher in grade school telling you to, when you're going to blow up and you're going to blow up at somebody, just count to 10, sit still and count to 10? Doesn't anybody take heed of that anymore?
I count to 20.
Well, then you're full of restraint then, Evan.
Yeah, I
So-
go to 20.
So I can trust working around you in the morning.
Yeah. Do you know where Kenosha, Wisconsin is?
I sure do.
Well, there's a 30-year-old guy named Jerry Watkins.
I have relatives in Kenosha. Watch it now.
Well, Jerry Watkins was arrested in Kenosha, Wisconsin last night after he caused a scene at the bar. After a cop handcuffed Jerry, Jerry managed to get a grip on the cop's junk. Yeah, his private area.
Wow.
Over the pants, if you're curious. According to the police report, Jerry squeezed so tight that the cop said it was a very sharp, intense pain.
I thought you were going to say his face lost all color or something.
Yeah. The cop yelled, spray him, he's got my junk in my trunk."
Oh my.
Yeah, they pepper sprayed the guy and he went to jail.
Yeah, I'm sure that he did.
Yeah,
Gosh, good
junk
gosh.
in the trunk.
My gosh.
He got a hold of his junk in the trunk.
See, there is no restraint anymore. I mean, people can't even,
That-
they can't even watch where they put their hands.
Is that what happens in Wisconsin
And I
where you
hope-
live?
I hope he washed them afterward.
Yeah.
Not the people that I know. I
Okay.
have, in that area, I have an aunt there, an uncle. I have cousins in Kenosha.
Mhm.
I've been there many times.
Okay. Let's go to Louisiana, where a woman was arrested on drug charges after police determined the $5,000 cash she used to post an inmate's bail had a funny smell to it. Actually, it was a strong odor of marijuana. Authorities began investigating 33-year-old Stormy Lynn Parfait shortly after she showed up at the Ashland jail to pay the bond fee for an inmate being held there on drug charges. After catching a whiff of the cash, a detective searched her car while she was still at the jail and found nearly $40,000 more in cash, along with 100 Klonopin pills
Oh, good gosh.
and also a food stamp card that wasn't registered to her either. Investigators found hundreds of additional pills and cash, as well as marijuana, cocaine, and paraphernalia during a search of the home later on.
She doesn't sound like the brightest light bulb in Louisiana either, does she?
4 unattended kids that were turned over to a relative as well were there, and she was charged with multiple counts of possession of intent to distribute
Yeah.
drugs, 4 counts of illegal use of a controlled drug in the presence of persons under 17, taking contraband or into a correctional institute, and other related charges.
See what drugs can do? Now,
Yeah.
don't do drugs.
Stupid. This is interesting. A house-proud mom has been targeted by trolls who accused her of uploading photos of a home that isn't really hers. From posts of hundreds of images of the immaculate home, she keeps getting trolled that this is not her home. To find out that she stole these photos from another website
Oh.
just to make herself look good.
Oh, and then so she posted photos of a house that wasn't her own house,
Yeah,
like the neighbor's house, and maybe saying that she owned it and all that stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I got to be careful because I go around town and I would like to, sometimes I would like the pictures of all of the pretty Christmas lights and how people decorate their homes, but then I don't post them. You got to watch whose home you're going to be posting
Yeah.
to and give them their privacy.
Bonnie, you know what color a Smurf is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what color?
Papa Smurf.
What color is Papa Smurf?
Why, he's blue with
All
a
the Smurfs
with
are
a white
blue.
beard.
Okay, so there's a man who tattooed his entire body in blue ink.
Oh, he did.
Has a simple reason for giving himself a Smurf-like tinge. To be honest, I just like the look of it, he says.
Oh, wow.
Name is Donnie Snyder, a former forklift driver from Canada. I thought it would be neat, he says. It has taken just 3 years for Snyder to transform himself into a jewelry-making, bus-dwelling blue dude.
All right.
The reason he did it was because his self-confidence was not all that great.
Oh.
So therefore, he feels that this boosted his self-confidence.
You know, and he would fit right in with the folks that do that down at Fantasy Fest for Halloween every year.
Yes.
Have you been to Fantasy Fest in Key West?
I have never been to Fantasy Fest.
Man, the people down there, I mean, they have a whole nudist colony there,
Yeah.
and they like people walk through that parade with their whole bodies
Yeah, body
being
paint.
painted.
Body
Yeah,
paint.
he'd fit right in.
So that guy, I would officially like to award our Loser of the Week award to.
Aw,
Yeah.
quit picking on him, Evan.
Well,
You're
I'm
making
sorry.
him all blue now.
Yes. Oh boy, that was a good one.
Oh,
Let's go to Canada, where a Canadian man is set to appeal a new court ruling that revokes his vanity license plate that bears his last name, Grabher. Grabher.
that's his last name.
His vanity
Grabher.
license plate is spelt out
Oh.
Grabher.
That's his last name.
Lauren Grabher of Nova Scotia claims he's been using his family name on his license plate without incident for nearly 30 years.
And I wonder how often he's used his last name of an excuse to grab her and get away with it.
According to the reports, the Department of Motor Vehicles first approved the Grabher license plate in 1990 and renewed it without issue ever since. However, in 2016, an anonymous person complained about it to the Department of Motor Vehicles, claiming it promoted hated against women. In response to the complaint, the license plate was canceled. Grabher and his attorneys have demanded the license plate be reinstated, claiming the decision was discriminatory, unreasonable, and a violation of free expression.
That's right. I mean, who can get upset over, you know?
Grabher.
Yeah. What's the problem? And somebody's got their underwear tied a little too tighty whitey there.
Could you imagine if a police officer pulls over the guy in the car and reads his last name on the license, driver's license, says Grabber, and the police officer looks at the guy and his wife is standing next to him, and the cop says, "Hey, Grabber," and he reaches over and he grabs his wife. Think about that one.
Yeah.
He did what the cop said.
He did.
To grab her.
And think about how he got away with it for so many years by, grabbing her.
Yeah.
Because of the name Grabber.
Okay. That would be like Crapper and Grabber. Crapper and Grabber, all in one. All
Thomas Crapper.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, what a name.
Yeah, and what an invention he did. Thank goodness he came along.
Yeah, he came out with the Crapper. Let's go to Russia, where a 22-year-old female boxer doesn't consider herself weaker than a man. And to prove this point, she spent years hiding her gender and fighting male boxers under the fake name of Vladimir.
No way.
During a conference call.
That is bad arse.
Yes.
Wow.
During a conference called International Women's Day, Feminism, Socialism, Sexism, the boxer revealed that a few years ago, she posed as a male boxer in order to fight against other men and prove that she was their equal.
Wow. I want to see a picture of this lady. Does it give her name? I got to look her up later.
Yes, her name is Tatyana.
Tatyana. Just the name sounds bad.
Tatyana. Her last name is Vashdova. That's Dvazhdova.
Okay. That reminds me of the what was the guy, the big Russian dude that was in Rocky? What did he? Oh, I forget his name. He had that big, really tough Russian name too. She sounds just like him.
Not Apollo Crews. No.
Not Apollo Creed.
No, Apollo Creed. That's
Ivan Drago. That was it. Ivan Drago said,
Drago?
I will break you.
I will wreck you.
I will break you. That's what he told Rocky. He was bad. I bet she's just as bad as him. I got to take a look at this woman. How many does it say she went and won fights against the men?
Yeah, she beat all the guys.
She beat them. She not only got in the ring with them, she was able to hit heavy, hard punches and actually win.
Yeah.
I got to take a look at this lady. Wow.
Yep.
Man, would you go in the ring with her, Evan? How long do you think it would take for her to pounce you down and all?
I would personally, no.
You just wouldn't be there. You would probably be like just like ringside, like Mickey.
Yeah, I would be ringside, and that would be that.
That would be intense, don't you think? Yeah. I mean, man, I gotta see who this woman is. I bet her biceps are like bigger.
All I can say is Google her name, and you'll find out exactly who the woman is. News time right now. It's 7:45. It's all brought to you by the all-new Alfa Romeo and Maserati Stewart. Come experience a state-of-the-art dealership and unsurpassed selection of luxury performance vehicles. The rich heritage of Italian motoring is within reach. Let them make your dream of driving an Alfa Romeo or Maserati come true. Alfa Romeo Maserati Stewart, located at 3980 Southeast Federal Highway. Stewart online at alfaromeostewart.com, maseratistewart.com. Luxury Legacy. Here's the headlines from the news desk with Bonnie.
And the state health department says there are now 23 positive cases of coronavirus in Florida. 21 of the patients are residents. The other 2 are from out of state. Test results are pending on 155 residents. 319 are being monitored. Florida's death toll from coronavirus remains at 2. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the country's leading expert on infectious diseases, says Florida is one of the states he says he loses the most sleep over.
The risk is relatively low. There are parts of the country right now that are having community spread in which the risk there is clearly a bit more than that. And you know the places, Washington State, California, New York, and Florida.
Meanwhile, Florida Senator Marco Rubio says he's frustrated that this far into the fight against the spread of COVID-19, there aren't more tests available.
I want to be frank. Even as I speak to you now, there are people who are being infected because they're interacting with people who may not even know that they themselves are infected.
Rubio says this is not like the flu because, unlike the flu, we don't have an antiviral medication for the coronavirus. Joe Biden is changing his plans to visit Florida because of the coronavirus. The former vice president announcing that he's canceled tomorrow's campaign appearance in Tampa. During the early morning hours of March 10th at 7:18 in the morning, police responded to the 400 block of Southwest Soros Avenue for reports of an armed home invasion involving 2 male suspects and an adult male victim. Police learned the suspects obtained entry via the back door of the residence. The suspects encountered the victim inside of the home. The suspects told the victim to be quiet and demanded money as they struck the victim with what the victim believed to be a handgun. At the time of the incident, there were 2 other residents inside of the home who were asleep. St. Lucie County Fire Rescue responded, and the victim was transported to a local hospital where he is still being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. And police are still gathering facts about the incident. The suspects are described as 2 black males dressed in black shirts. One suspect had on black pants, and the other suspect had on blue jeans. Both had on masks covering their faces. The suspects fled the area in an unknown direction. Police and K-9 were unable to locate the suspects after an extensive search of the area. So police are asking if you have any information on the case to call the Port St. Lucie Police Department at 772-871-5001. And finally, the Public Works Facility at 450 Southwest Thornhill Drive in Port St. Lucie will be holding their Household Hazardous Waste and Tire Amnesty Day event this coming Saturday from 8 a.m. till noon. And this event is for Port St. Lucie residents only. IDs are required. Each March and October, Keep Port St. Lucie Beautiful hosting the biannual Household Hazardous Waste Day event that makes it convenient for residents to dispose of their unwanted household chemicals and hazardous waste safely. Spring Major League Baseball from last night. The Texas Rangers beating Chicago White Sox 9-2. Arizona Diamondbacks over Cincinnati 10-2 yesterday. The Cubs 16-3 over the San Francisco Giants. The Brewers winning 2 yesterday over Kansas City Royals 5-2. The Phillies over Minnesota Twins 5-1, and Washington Nationals lost to Miami Marlins 3-2. New York Yankees over Toronto Blue Jays yesterday by a score of 4-2, and the New York Mets 7-4 over Houston Astros. Atlanta Braves beating Houston Astros 2 yesterday by a score of 3-2. And in basketball, the NBA action, Boston Celtics come on top last night over the Indiana Pacers 114-111, and the Brooklyn Nets just by a bucket beating the Los Angeles Lakers, and that score 104-102. Golden State Warriors fall hard to the LA Clippers 131-107. Our news time is 7:50. Weather and traffic together coming up.
7:51, the time to get up and go show. It's time for traffic and weather together. All brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Bonnie?
Well, everything's looking fine on our roads this morning. So if you're heading off to work, you got to get there by 8:30. You should arrive on time. No accidents, no slowdowns, and this includes major highways right here. There's your latest look at traffic. It is 64 in Stewart. It's 61 right now in Port St. Lucie. Here's our weather at WPTV.
This morning here on the Treasure Coast, some showers are coming in along the coast and some patchy fog is possible as well. Temperatures are cooler inland than along the coast. This afternoon, partly sunny with high temperatures around 80 degrees and breezy winds out of the east. A few passing showers are possible during the afternoon hours, and rip current risks are elevated along area beaches, and boating conditions will remain choppy.
Welcome back to Martin County's Heritage Radio Station, WSTU, AM 1450. Now back to the Get Up and Go Show with Evan and Bonnie.
7:57 in the Get Up and Go Show with Evan and Bonnie. And Bonnie, I found some very interesting facts about money that might just actually shock you. Okay. The weight of $1 million worth of quarters, guess how much that weighs?
I'm going to say a ton.
No, 50,000 pounds.
50
Mhm.
50 tons
Yeah.
then. Holy mackerel.
Yeah. Can you guess the average lifespan of a dollar bill?
The average lifespan
Of a dollar
of a
bill.
dollar bill
Yes.
is 75 years.
18 months. 18 months.
Oh, that's all?
The average lifespan of a dollar bill. How about the average lifespan of a $100 bill?
That is, I'm going to say, okay, so 18 months was the dollar bill.
Yeah.
Let's do 2 years.
You're a little close. You're 9 years.
Oh,
The average lifespan of a quarter. What do you think that is?
of a quarter. Now, does this mean that this money goes out of existence or it just goes out of circulation?
wears out. It just wears
Just
out.
of the wear and the
Yep,
physical wear and tear of it?
Average lifespan of a quarter.
Of a quarter, that's got to be several thousands of years.
25 years. That's
Really?
it. 25 years.
Oh yeah, I suppose like you can't tell if it's a quarter after all those years. You probably can't see the head of George Washington. It probably flattens out.
Yep.
I
Here's
would gather.
another interesting fact. $696 million is the amount printed daily by the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
$696
$96 million
Daily?
printed daily.
daily. I bet you couldn't even go in and look at that operation, right? I bet there are like guards that
oh,
would not
yes.
even let you near
Cameras.
it.
Here's an interesting fact. 0.01% of the $750 billion in U.S. currency circulating is estimated to be counterfeit.
Really?
Counterfeit.
0.01%?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, 13, the number of instances of the number 13 on the back of a dollar bill, including 13 letters in the motto E pluribus
unum.
unum. You knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It has that eye on the back of that pyramid.
That was pretty
That
interesting.
eye looking at you.
Interesting facts about currency.
It is rather interesting.
You know, I find that very fascinating.
Did you have one of those Susan B. Anthony coins back in the day?
No, I didn't.
That was the dollar. I think it went out of circulation or they stopped making it because it looked so much like the quarter.
No, I did not.
But I had a couple of those in my pocket, the Susan B. Anthony ones back in the day.
Very cool. Very cool.
No longer have them. They were well spent.
Okay. All right. We're WSTU Stewart, Martin County's Heritage Station. We're going to step back for the news. And then Martin County Administrator Taryn Christus is going to be here giving us an update on what's happening. Don't go anywhere.
On the air, online, covering the Treasure Coast. Get connected with the Get Up and Go show. And now here's your host, Evan and Bonnie.
8:07 on the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie. It's a Wednesday. It's a wild, wicked Wednesday. And we're over halfway through the morning show. That means we're officially now hump day.
We're over the hump.
We're over the hump.
So it feels good.
Right. But I feel like there's a part of me that wants to say there's something missing. There's something missing, that the seat next to you should have somebody in it, because this person spoiled us last week. They were here.
She spoiled us with her presence.
Yes, she spoiled us with her presence. So it was like a tease. Here I am, and here I'm not.
Like we had a light bulb and the room
Yeah.
was full of light, and now there's
Exactly.
darkness.
Yeah, now there's darkness, but hopefully there'll be light back in the room next week, because I know she's a very, very busy lady.
She is.
Martin County Administrator Taryn Krista joins us now on our line. Good morning, Taryn.
Well, good morning. You know, I'm just sparing you from having too much.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You don't want to spoil us too bad.
You can't get too much of a good thing.
That's right.
All right. Well,
That's
you,
right.
you know the door's always open. You know that.
Absolutely. And it was so much fun to be there with you all. And it's a different experience. I agree with you. So it's something that I want to do more often, because it was really nice to be able to sit there and you just feel like you're more part of the team.
Yeah, exactly. You're part of the crazy morning show.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was great.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time. And like I said, the door's always open. So anytime, any Wednesday.
I'll surprise you.
Yes, you just stroll right in here. We have people random off the street that just stroll in and join us for breakfast or come by to say hi. Or
They bring us ice and
they
water.
bring us ice and water. And
Oh, see, I would have brought
Yes.
y'all coffee or something like that if I'd known that.
Bonnie's
I
a
didn't
coffee.
realize-
Bonnie's a coffee drinker. I'm not.
You're not. Okay.
I bring my breakfast with me every morning.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, and I have to eat in between hours, especially on days like today, because I have a Mets game I have to announce. So I have to blaze out of the studio and get right to the stadium.
Yeah, that's pretty great that we have the opportunity to have a baseball team here and have that exposure, even though it's not in Martin County, but it's just right next door.
It is. It is. You open
And,
one door and you close one door and you open the next and you're in the next county.
Yeah, it's just amazing that we are able to do that.
For sure. So what's been going on lately in Martin County? Kind of fill
Well,
us in.
We didn't have a meeting yesterday, but we do have a lot of things going on. We're getting ready to, on Tuesday, March 17th, which is a week from yesterday.
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's your birthday? Well, happy birthday.
That's right. St.
That's
Patrick's
awesome.
Day.
Yeah,
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day. So you'll have a couple things to celebrate. But we're going to have start our work out on Pratt Whitney Road and our 96th Street. So there may be some intermittent lane closures out there for the folks that live out that way. We're getting ready to get our water park prepared so that they can open up during spring break, which is next week. So starting this Saturday through the following Sunday, we'll be having the water park open. So for if folks have their kids on spring break and they're looking for things that they can do, they can absolutely take them over to the water park and have them enjoy that. We also have our, we've opened up our camps for registration. So anyone who is looking to do something for our summer camps, you might want to go out and see, what we have available. And then, as we talked about before, we're be kicking off the census. We keep trying to get information out there for folks. It starts officially on April 1st, but we want folks to know that they can go out there, and we want to count everybody. It helps us with federal funding. It helps us with a lot of our formulas that we get from state funding relative to our gas tax and our sales tax and other things that the state gives to us is all population-based. So we want to make sure that we're appropriately accounted for. And the supervisor elections, she has early voting going on right now. She started it on Saturday, this past Saturday. I actually went over there. There were a lot of people. I was amazed how many people were doing early voting, and that's awesome. But she will have her offices open so folks can go over there on Martin Luther King Boulevard and cast your vote. And it's open to Democrats and Republicans and independents. So if you can do that, that'd be great. Otherwise, you'll have to wait and then go to your polling station on next Tuesday. So a lot of good things going on. And we've also, the coronavirus or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, a lot of folks are concerned. We've got information on our website at www.martin.fl.us. It will take you to the health department's website.
Okay.
We're following their lead. The health department on issues like this is the primary entity that takes control of this. But we are working with all of our partners here in Martin County, the hospitals, your doctors, your physicians, anybody who might possibly come in contact with an individual that might have the virus or have been exposed to the virus. And we're working very closely with everyone to make sure that we can minimize the impact that it might have here in Martin County. So we continue to stay on top of that as well. The governor did declare a state of emergency for Florida after we had a couple of deaths that were associated with the virus. But what that essentially means is that allows anyone who declares an emergency has the ability to then invoke other procedures and circumvent, if you will, your normal procedures when you have an emergency for acquiring supplies and requesting assistance. So this just allows us to, if we didn't have enough of personal protection equipment for our fire rescue folks and those emergency management folks, it would allow us the ability to reach out at the federal level, state level, federal level, and say, okay, does anybody have, this type of equipment that we think we need here in Martin County? And we would be able to acquire that through different circumstances than our normal procurement process. So it just helps us get the need out there, if you will, and get it satisfied quicker than what we normally would do. So
one of the big, Taryn, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Sure.
one of the biggest things, people are panicking right now.
Yes.
And they're emptying the shelves out, literally.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
there's no need to panic. Honestly, there's not.
You're absolutely correct. When we look back on other circumstances where we've had other flus or other, illnesses that have affected us, it's very similar. And the folks that are susceptible, if you have a compromised immune system, or if you have respiratory issues, or
Right.
if you're the elderly, those are the individuals that obviously have a heightened level of focus. And we're working with our assisted living facilities. We're
Mhm.
working with those to make sure that everyone has the protocols, make sure that everyone understands that should someone have these symptoms, we want to, isolate them and quarantine to the best of our ability. But you're absolutely right, Evan. It's we don't want people, turning this into way more than what it is. It's serious, yes, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, the reaction that we're having from individuals has created a little bit of a level of hysteria.
In my humble opinion, I just personally think it's just another name for a flu bug, but it's a little bit stronger than the normal flu. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
And this is just really getting blown out of proportion, that what's going on with this whole coronavirus or COVID-19, whatever they want to call this thing.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just a strong strain of the flu. Go get a flu shot if you want to be protected against getting the flu. I'm going to go get a flu shot. I don't know if Bonnie's going to. Bonnie, you going to get a flu shot?
I'm not really sure yet.
Okay. All right. But it's just getting blown out of proportion. The news media is just scaring the bejesus out of everybody.
Yeah, and when you look at the statistics, which most folks don't have the ability to have that access to that information, but a large majority, I would say almost 80% of the folks that have it or are travel related.
Yeah.
So, they're being exposed to this outside of the United States, and they're coming back home, and unfortunately they were exposed to it, didn't realize it. And so, but then it's how many people have they exposed? So it's just another flu. It's just another virus, if you will. But we just have to be more conscientious that this is the flu season.
Yeah.
And take the precautions that you can. So I agree with you. I got the flu shot. It doesn't stop you from getting it, but a few years ago I had the flu shot and I got the flu, and I didn't realize I had the flu because my symptoms were pretty much minimized.
Right.
Because I'd already had the flu shot. And if I had not, it was just more like I was just kind of like feeling like I had a cold. And when they tested me, I actually had the flu. But again, I didn't have the full-blown symptoms because I'd had that flu shot.
Wow.
So, it's a personal decision on everyone. I get that. But at the same time, if you can take some precautions, it's no different than, making sure you wash your hands and, sanitize whatever. If you have, if you're in a position where you're exposed to something that a lot of others have contact with, things like that. It's just a matter of taking those precautions.
Yeah, that's really it.
A lot of common sense.
Just that, and that's pretty very well put, Bonnie. Common sense is really all it is. It's just common sense. Just do go on with your everyday normal life. Wash your hands, and just sanitize and just be cognizant of your surroundings. That's all.
That's right. And if you're not feeling well, then please don't go to work.
Stay
don't
home.
Expose others to it. Don't go to the grocery store. If you can avoid it, just take those common sense precautions. You're absolutely right. Actually, you're very correct in that assessment.
That is true. And Taryn, on a more maybe sunshiny note,
sure.
You mentioned too that we had the Port St. Lucie, of course, has the Mets and the baseball in the field, and Martin County does have the water park. So
yes.
And it's affordable. It's and it's a nice park, and that can keep people kind of put right here instead of heading south to the more pricey water parks.
Right. And they also say too, Bonnie, with this flu, don't be in a confined space. Well, it's a water park. Obviously you're outside. You can, it's not a concentrated cluster of folks, if you will. So it has the ability to provide some kind of form of entertainment for kids where they're outside, they're able to run around. You're in and out of the water. They have food. They have those tremendous slides. We have the lazy river. We have those, I don't know what they call that one area where you can step on the things. It's kind of like a lily pad.
Oh,
if you walk across them and they're in the water. So if the weather's nice, hopefully it will stay warm and sunny. And if you don't have something to do with your child and you're thinking of, what could we be doing, or you have visitors with kids, take them to the water park. It is affordable, in my opinion. And it's a good activity for the kids. There's a lot that they can do, and it's just a lot of fun.
Indeed. Sailfish Splash right here.
Yep. Sailfish Splash right here. I take my grandkids there when they're here. They love it. It's a good, at least one day, you can do that with them. But we have a lot of activities throughout Martin County. We have tremendous beaches, and that's always something you can do. Or you can rent surfboards. You can do various things that you can partake in for activities with the kids or families. So it's just we have a lot to offer here in Martin County. We're very fortunate.
Certainly, and it's not going to be long before we're going to have to find several ways to cool off again.
Yes. I think, this last cold snap is probably.
Don't say it's going to be the last. Please don't. I kind of, I'm enjoying our cold snap.
It's already
here.
the middle of March.
Yeah.
All right. That's Martin County Administrator Taryn Krishna. She joins us each and every Wednesday at this time to give us an update on what's happening around Martin County. Taryn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all, and you have a great day.
Have a great day as well. Greatly appreciate you joining us. 8:21 right now. It's news time. All brought to you by Discovery Senior Living. Bonnie has the headlines. Good morning, Bonnie.
Good morning to you, Evan. And the state health department says there are now 23 positive cases of coronavirus in Florida. 21 of the patients are residents. The other 2 are from out of state. Test results are pending on 155 residents. 319 are being monitored. Florida's death toll from coronavirus remains at 2. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the country's leading expert on infectious diseases, says Florida is one of the states he says he loses the most sleep over.
As a nation, the risk is relatively low. There are parts of the country right now that are having community spread in which the risk there is clearly a bit more than that. And you know the places, Washington State, California, New York, and Florida.
Meanwhile, Florida Senator Marco Rubio says he's frustrated that this far into the fight against the spread of COVID-19, there aren't more tests available.
I want to be frank. Even as I speak to you now, there are people who are being infected because they're interacting with people who may not even know that they themselves are infected.
Rubio says this is not like the flu because, unlike the flu, we don't have an antiviral medication for the coronavirus. And Joe Biden is changing his plans to visit Florida because of the coronavirus. The former vice president announcing that he's canceled tomorrow's campaign appearance in Tampa. Well, on March 10 at around 2:07 in the a.m., police responded to the 2000 block of Americana Street in Port St. Lucie for reports of shooting activity in the area. A caller advised that several shots were heard prior to the arrival of police. After an extensive search of the area, police located 14 shell casings. Police discovered 3 bullets struck a house. Police were informed at least 3 people were inside of the home at the time of the shooting, and when police arrived on scene, they found no suspects and no shooting victims. However, damage to the exterior of the home was noted. This case is actively being investigated. Police are still gathering facts and motive for the shooting. No additional information will be released at this time, but police are asking the public if they have any information about the incident or suspects involved to contact the Port St. Lucie Police Department at 772-871-5001. Finally, during the early morning hours of March 10 at 7:18 in the a.m., police responded to the 400 block of Southwest Soros Avenue for reports of an armed home invasion. That involved 2 male suspects and an adult male victim. Police learned the suspects obtained entry via the back door of that residence. The suspects encountered the victim inside of the home. Suspects told victim to be quiet and demanded money as they struck victim with what the victim believed to be a handgun. And at the time of the incident, there were 2 other residents inside. St. Lucie County Fire Rescue responded. Victim was transported to a local hospital where he is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and police are still gathering facts. The suspects are described as 2 black males dressed in black shirts. One suspect had on black pants. The other suspect had on blue jeans. Both had on masks covering their faces. Suspects fled the area in an unknown direction. Police and K-9 were unable to locate suspects after an extensive search of that area. And police are asking if you have any information on this matter too. Once again, call the Port St. Lucie Police Department, 772-871-5001. The scores in the Major Baseball League last night. Miami Marlins beat the Washington Nationals 3-2. New York Yankees winning over Toronto 4-2. And the New York Mets also take a win yesterday, 7-4 over the Houston Astros. And the Houston Astros, not a good day for them. They also lost to Atlanta Braves 3-2. Detroit Tigers beat Pittsburgh Pirates by a score of 4-1. Phillies beating Minnesota 5-1. Texas Rangers beating down the Chicago White Sox 9-2 yesterday. The Arizona Diamondbacks over Cincinnati Reds 10-2. And the Brewers, they win over Kansas City Royals 5-2. And a big score on the Chicago Cubs game when they beat San Francisco Giants 16-3 yesterday. News time is 8:26. We'll have weather and traffic together coming up.
$8:27 on the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie. It's time for traffic and weather together, brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Bonnie?
Well, we've seen a good morning all morning out on our roads throughout the Treasure Coast. We're not seeing any accidents that we're viewing right now from FHP. And there is your latest traffic. It's a partly sunny sky, 62 in Port St. Lucie. Stewart, we have 64 right now. Here's our forecast at WPTV.
Morning here on the Treasure Coast. Some showers are coming in along the coast, and some patchy fog is possible as well. Temperatures are cooler inland than along the coast. This afternoon, partly sunny with high temperatures around 80 degrees and breezy winds out of the east. A few passing showers are possible during the afternoon hours, and rip current risks are elevated along area beaches, and boating conditions will remain choppy.
Toot.
Do you have a suggestion for the show? Send us an email. WSTUmorningshow@gmail.com. And now let's get back to the Get Up and Go show. Here's Evan and Bonnie.
8:31 right now on the Get Up and Go show, and it's time to head to outer space in another place where Randy Siegel is standing by with our daily dose of space from the outer limits. Good morning, Randy.
And good morning to you, sir. Well, it was on this date in history, back in 1960, that NASA launched its Pioneer 5 spacecraft. It was a deep space probe that only lasted 105 days. And however, it did discover the existence of interplanetary magnetic fields, and it was the most successful of the Pioneer family of spacecrafts. We have a sad note because the other day, Dr. Charles Chuck A. Berry, a NASA flight surgeon who helped select the country's first astronauts and devised tests to see if they could survive the demands of space, passed away in his sleep at the ripe old age of 96. He continued to work for NASA till he was 68 years old, spending many years with the space agency. The astronauts on board the International Space Station continue unloading that Dragon spacecraft that reached the station. On Monday, Andrew Morgan and Jessica Meir opened up the hatches for a few surprises. They got some candy sent up to them that they weren't expecting. One of those little things that make astronauts happy, the same as it makes little children happy when they get special surprises when they open up their lunchbox. Yep, the astronauts are working with live mice on the station. And these mice are placed in a special habitat for a Japanese-run investigation exploring how microgravity affects genetic expression. Observations will give doctors insight into how the human body will adapt to longer missions to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Meir collected a science freezer and commercial research hardware from inside the Dragon and began to set up the gear throughout the station. She got back to work, working on bone research and tending to bone cells being observed to understand how Earth ailments, such as osteoporosis, may be affected. Commander Oleg Shrapochka from Russia collected air samples from inside the Dragon shortly after its hatch was open. The veteran cosmonaut then focused on the Russian life support maintenance before setting up Earth observation hardware during the flight. Well, we're now seeing that NASA is getting ready to target using a SpaceX rocket, Falcon 9, this weekend. They're preparing for a launch to take place that would allow them to get a lot more insight into exactly what's going on in space. The Dragon will place into orbit 60 Starlink satellites, and everything seems to be going according to plan. That's not the same that we can say for Russia. Russia is having problems with their Proton rocket. The Proton rocket was scheduled to launch 2 new communications satellites into orbit. However, they found that the Proton had some parts that were not installed properly. They weren't working properly, and then they decided that they better take down the rocket from its launch pad and examine it more closely. In this case, the Russians have insured the 2 satellites to the sum of $139.4 million. So Russia is learning that you've got to insure some of these satellites because there's no guarantee that the launcher rocket will in fact do what it is supposed to do. We also learned that the NASA Inspector General says that the Space Launch System, that's NASA's new moon rocket, is having the cost climb way beyond what they had originally inspected. It's more than $18 billion. They've spent more than $18 billion on the rocket. And liftoff of the maiden flight will not take place till late 2021. So we may continue to see launch delays for that particular vehicle. The hope is that NASA would get astronauts on the moon, especially a female, by 2024. As we get closer, it looks like a vaulting task at best. The Japanese are aiming to continue to explore Mars as well as to get ready to explore its moons. Yep. They have currently had the Hayabusa 2 spacecraft, which rendezvoused and collected samples from asteroid Ryugu last November and are headed back to Earth, that they are now getting ready to go to the 2 additional moons, Phobos and Deimos. If all goes according to plan, the spacecraft will spend 3 years surveying and mapping them both. And this is something that will give them a huge amount of data, to say the least. Phobos has a diameter of 22.2 kilometers and Deimos 12.6 kilometers. The asteroid visited by Hayabusa are much smaller. Ryugu is a little more than 1 kilometer across. So the Japanese continue to show that they are in a position to get more for less. Spaceport plans may see launches taking place from Scotland starting next year. The Scottish people, namely the Shetland Space Center, is planning vertical launch pads for satellites on their island. They believe that they'll be in a position to start launching vehicles from that location in the not too distant future. They too want a piece of the pie, and they want to show what they can do. Also, SpaceX announced that their Starship tested yesterday did not suffer any problems, and India says that they are spending much less money on their human spaceflight. We'll tell you more about that tomorrow, as well as Starlink having problems. So until tomorrow, have a great day, everybody.
That's your daily dose of space from Randy Siegel. He's on the program Monday through Friday at 8:30 each and every weekday. And now we head on down the road to Ellie's Downtown Deli, where Bonnie is standing by with the menu in front of her and a look at some of what is going on down at the deli. Some of Mark's great cuisine, right?
Yeah, it sure is, Evan,
Yeah.
too. And you can get some delicious, hot and juicy, huge sandwiches at Ellie's Deli in Stuart. Try the double-decker for lunch today. This one is packed with plenty of corned beef and pastrami, some Swiss cheese on there, blue cheese dressing, tomatoes, and sauerkraut. And that's pressed hot on a toasted rye bread. All sandwiches come with a delicious side item, of course, so you can enjoy some rich and fluffy potato salad. Maybe make it a cup fresh bowl of fruit or some black and green olives today, too, when you visit Ellie's Deli. And if you have room, make room for dessert. Try some key lime pie or take home a half pound of chocolate chip M&M cookies. The kids will love you for it tonight.
I might love you for that, too, if you brought that home.
I know. Ellie's
Right.
Deli is on 18 Southeast 6th Street, Evan, in Stuart, just off Colorado. Call 772-781-6605.
All right, there you go, folks. That's your latest dish of dirt. Or I don't want to say dish of dirt, but dish of food from Ellie's Downtown Deli. It's time for the Precious Metals Report, brought to you by St. Lucie Jewelry and Coin. Gold is opening up at $1,665.70 an ounce, and silver is opening up at $16.94 an ounce. It's time for news once again at 8:41 on the Get Up and Go show. It's all brought to you by the all-new Alfa Romeo and Maserati Stewart. Come experience a state-of-the-art dealership and unsurpassed selection of luxury performance vehicles. The rich heritage of Italian motoring is within reach. Let them make your dream of driving an Alfa Romeo or Maserati come true. Alfa Romeo Maserati Stewart, located 3980 Southeast Federal Highway in Stewart. Online at alfaromeostewart.com, maseratistewart.com. Luxury legacy. Here's the headlines from the news desk with Bonnie. Good morning, Bonnie.
Good morning. The state health department says there are now 23 positive cases of coronavirus in Florida. 21 of the patients are residents. The other 2 are from out of state. Test results are pending on 155 residents, and 319 are being monitored. Florida's death toll from coronavirus remains at 2. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the country's leading expert on infectious diseases, says Florida is one of the states he says he loses the most sleep over.
As a nation, the risk is relatively low. There are parts of the country right now that are having community spread in which the risk there is clearly a bit more than that. And you know the places, Washington State, California, New York, and Florida.
Meanwhile, Florida Senator Marco Rubio says he's frustrated that this far into the fight against the spread of COVID-19, there aren't more tests available.
I want to be frank. Even as I speak to you now, there are people who are being infected because they're interacting with people who may not even know that they themselves are infected.
Joe Biden is changing his plans to visit Florida because of the coronavirus. The former vice president announcing that he's canceled tomorrow's campaign appearance in Tampa. On March 10th, around 2:07 in the morning, police responded to the 2000 block of Americana Street, Port St. Lucie, for reports of shooting activity in the area. A caller, while inside the home, said several shots were heard prior to the arrival of police. And after an extensive search of that area, police located 14 shell casings. Police discovered 3 bullets struck a house. Police were informed at least 3 people were inside of the home at the time of the shooting. And when they arrived on scene, they found no suspects and no shooting victims. However, damage to the exterior of a home was noted. This case is actively being investigated, and police are still gathering the facts and motive for shooting. No additional information will be released at this time. And police are still asking if you have any information about the incident or suspects involved, contact the Port St. Lucie Police Department at 772-871-5001. And the American Red Cross said on Tuesday that it is in need of blood donations from healthy people amid the spread of COVID-19. The Red Cross said that the cold and flu season has already impacted the nation's ability to maintain its blood supply. The organization is concerned that a widespread outbreak of the coronavirus would cause fewer otherwise healthy individuals to give blood. The Red Cross said that its process is safe and that it will take precautions to avoid spreading germs. Red Cross staff will be wearing gloves, routinely wiping down donor-touched areas, using sterile collection sets for every donation, and preparing the arm for donation with a septic scrub. You can make an appointment to donate blood now by using the Red Cross Blood Donor app, visiting redcrossblood.org, or by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Type O and platelet donations are especially needed right now, and to give blood, you can donate once every 56 days. You must be in good health and feeling well, be at least age 16, weigh 110 pounds, depending on height, and those who donate will be asked to produce an ID and be asked several medical questions. This whole process takes 10 to 15 minutes, according to the Red Cross. And our news time right now is 8:46. And a rundown of the Major League baseball spring scores from last night. We had the Atlanta Braves winning over Houston Astros by a score of 3-2. And then later, looks like the Astros, they go and lose again to the New York Mets by a score of 7-4 yesterday. Detroit Tigers beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-1. Miami Marlins taking a win over Washington Nationals 3-2. The Phillies beating Minnesota Twins 5-1. The Texas Rangers beat Chicago White Sox 9-2. And Cincinnati Reds fall down to the Arizona Diamondbacks 10-2 yesterday. Kansas City Royals losing to Brewers 5-2. And the Chicago Cubs taking a big win over San Francisco Giants 16-3. Our NBA scores, we have Boston Celtics over Indiana Pacers 114-111. LA Clippers beat the Golden State Warriors 131-107, and the Brooklyn Nets over the Los Angeles Lakers in a close one, 104-102 yesterday. From our National Hockey League action, Tampa Bay Lightning lost to Toronto Maple Leafs 2-1. It was 5-4. The Canucks beating the New York Islanders. And the Ottawa Senators fall to Anaheim Ducks by a score of 5-2. News Times 8:47. Weather and traffic together will be next.
$8:48, the time of the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie. It's time for traffic and weather together, brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Bonnie?
We have been accident-free throughout this entire Wednesday morning, and the good news is if you're heading out, it's still remaining that way. You're not going to find any kind of a slowdown out on the roads right now. There's your latest look at traffic. And a good-looking sunshine coming through right here. It's 66 in Jensen Beach. It's 63 degrees in Port St. Lucie. Here's the forecast at WPTV.
This morning here on the Treasure Coast, some showers are coming in along the coast, and some patchy fog is possible as well. Temperatures are cooler inland than along the coast. This afternoon, partly sunny with high temperatures around 80 degrees and breezy winds out of the east. A few passing showers are possible during the afternoon hours, and rip current risks are elevated along area beaches, and boating conditions will remain choppy.
Let's get back to the Get Up and Go show. Here's Evan and Bonnie.
$8:51 on the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie as we wind down on a wicked Wednesday. It's hump day, Bonnie. We're halfway through the work week for us, but
Yeah,
not all of us, because I have to go to job number 2 when I leave here,
I know.
and so do you.
It doesn't feel like halfway through the work week for me. It's kind
Yeah.
of like today or tomorrow I'm starting
Okay.
another week at my other job. So,
All right.
but it flows well together.
Okay. Well, it's time to play the Wednesday edition of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Oh, I like this one.
Okay. So
I always like it when I'm smarter than a fifth grader. You know,
I'm going to quiz you and ask you several questions, and I'm going to make them multiple choice,
oh,
just as if you were
okay.
in 5th grade. So sit upright in your desk, young lady. Have your pen and paper
Yeah.
ready, and
no math questions, please.
no. Okay. All right. Let me stop the music here and get on the right buttons here. Okay. So here we go, Bonnie. This is going to be your oral quiz for the day. Okay. Question number 1. What do we call scientists who study plants and plant life? Is it A, geologists, B, ecologists, or C, botanists?
See, botanist.
Very good.
I thought you were going to bring horticulturist in there for
No.
some reason, and I was just going to blurt that out.
I
before you
almost did a
said
D, all of the above.
botanist.
But yeah, I didn't want to do that. The Parthenon was a temple dedicated to what Greek goddess? Is it A, Athena, B, Aphrodite, or C, Isis?
I'm going to go with B, Aphrodite. It was Athena, wasn't it?
It was Athena.
That was my
Yes.
first thought, and I should have
Okay.
popped out the first one.
All right, next question.
Okay.
Of the following inventions, which one came first? A, pottery, B, baskets, or C, flint tools?
C, flint tools.
Very good. Okay. So right now you have a B. Okay. Your grade is a B. From what state is the United States? No, from what state in the US can you see the northern lights? Is it A, Alaska, B, Washington, or C, Maine?
A, Alaska.
Very good. 4 out of 5.
You would think you could see the northern lights from all of those northern states,
Okay.
however, though.
All right, here's your
At
next
one
one.
point,
How do you find the square of any number? Do you divide it by 2? Math question.
I know.
Multiply it by itself, or C, multiply it by 4?
Divide it by 2A.
Divide it by 2A?
Yeah.
Incorrect. You have to multiply it by itself.
That's how you find the square of it.
That's how you find the
first
square of it.
step of finding the square
That's
of
the
it.
first step of finding the square.
And then I know there's some division in there somewhere, but that's probably step number 2 in that matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So now it's time for part 2 of our game that we always do when we have all this extra time. It's called Yes or BS.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll read down the questions
Mhm.
and you have to say yes or BS. Okay.
I am ready for you.
Question 1. According to Pew Research, the average age for men who got divorced for the first time is 30.
Yes.
Very good. Walt Disney supposedly named Mickey Mouse after actor Mickey Rooney.
BS.
Yes.
Yes,
His
he
mom
did.
once dated him.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Okay.
You see, what was Mickey Mouse's first name going to be?
I don't know.
And I think the wife came in and changed it.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse was almost known as Mortimer.
Okay.
Mortimer. Could you imagine?
All right. John is the most common first name in the world.
BS. I think it's Michael.
You're close. It's Mohammed.
Mohammed?
Mohammed.
You don't say.
Yes.
Like Muhammad Ali?
Yes.
Muhammad Ali is the only Muhammad that I know, though.
Yes. It's Mohammed.
And that's the most common name?
Yep. Jupiter is also known as the red planet.
Yes.
Yes.
What is the red planet?
Mars.
Oh yeah. I knew that.
Okay.
What the heck, Bonnie?
Human coronavirus has been around since the mid 1960s.
Human coronavirus.
Yes.
BS.
Okay.
I think it's a new thing.
It's yes. It has been around since the 60s. Crypto is the name of Superboy's dog.
Yes.
Very good. Maxwell House Coffee first used the slogan "Good to the last drop."
Yes, they
in
did.
1907.
Yes.
Incorrect.
It wasn't
was
Maxwell?
Coca-Cola. The slogan was long forgotten when Maxwell House Coffee started using it.
Oh, okay. And then
Yeah.
Coke had to start using have
Yeah.
a Coke and a smile.
Yes. Although currently single, Cher has been married 4 times. Yes or BS?
Yes.
Yes is incorrect.
Maybe twice?
Just 2.
Twice.
Sonny and Greg
Greg
Allman.
Allman. Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought she was married to others
Nope.
as okay.
Over 70% of American adults have had an alcoholic drink in the last year.
Yes.
Correct. According to a recent survey, Los Angeles has the most lingerie shops per capita of any city in the United States.
Yes.
It's Columbia, South Carolina.
In South Carolina,
Yep,
they
they
have all
have the
those
most.
lingerie.
Yes.
Well, I'll just have to go there then.
Yes. The majority of the U.S. nickel is made of copper. Yes or BS?
Yes.
Yes is correct. Current nickels are 75% copper and 26% nickel, Bonnie.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Good information. Good facts there.
Yes.
Evan.
Yes. Excellent facts. Hold on. I lost my place. There we go. Okay. There we are. Okay. These days, the average age for a first-time mother is 24.
Yes.
Yes? Correct. In the country of Burkina Faso, West Africa, the legal drinking age is 13.
BS.
Wrong.
Oh.
It is. Almost 1 out of 3 recent high school graduates cannot find the Pacific Ocean on the map. Yes or BS?
Yes. I hate to say it.
There are currently 11 states where it is legal to buy marijuana in the United States.
11 states
11
already?
states. Yes or BS?
BS.
Incorrect. It's yes.
Oh, there are 11 right now.
Yes.
Okay. I'm still stuck on the one that came in first, Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't know the others that followed suit yet, Evan.
I don't know
To
either.
take a look.
Well, Bonnie, that's a wrap. We're
Yeah,
done.
It is.
We're out of here for a Wednesday.
And I get to go out to lunch with my friend today.
And you do get to go out to lunch with your friend today.
I think I'm going to get a blackened shrimp Caesar salad for lunch.
Are you?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Kind of craving that
All right.
action.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
Maybe a sip of wine.
I
Maybe
hope you
2.
enjoy it.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's a wrap for us, folks. That's the morning show, the Get Up and Go show with Evan and Bonnie. We're done. We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow right here at WSTU Stewart, Martin County's Heritage Station, and Chow Mein,
Honduras.
and Arriva Dirty. In the words of Ellen DeGeneres,
Be kind to everyone.
bye-bye for now.